Kirk, though.
Welcome to the show. Let's get this party started. Hopefully y'all had a great day today. It wouldn't be allegedly because he was charged.
Welcome to speak. Welcome to speak.
Why, those must be some good wings.
Who you with, Kirk, dog?
Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kirk, dog. I'm Who You With, Kirk, dog. Hopefully everybody is safe today with all the snow that is going on in Dallas. Came on earlier and did a short show for Valentine, and shortly after that, lights went out. So, but we're back, had the lights back on, and we ready to get this started. Welcome everyone on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, Twitter, D Live. It's in the house. You can live chat with us during the show. We're going to talk about a couple of things tonight. Armstrong, our officials were charged with a felony. Yeah, those stories are a trip on what all they did for embezzlement. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. And of course, we know the biggest news of the weekend. We got some cowards up in Washington that we need to get them out of Washington. They refused to find Trump guilty to impeach him. So we're going to talk about that. Then we're also going to talk about Mitch McConnell, the statement he made after. So we definitely going to talk about that. So welcome to the show, Radio Chaos. You want to know if we're getting hit with that winter storm? Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And because of it, they did a rolling blackout here in Dallas, and it affected us after I did the short show earlier. I was getting prepared for tonight. About 10 minutes in, bam, lights went out. So, and they was out for about 30 to 45 minutes, which was crazy because my neighbor next door, he called and said, "Hey, Kurt, man, you have lights over there?" I'm like, "Nope." He said, "Oh, I thought I didn't pay my bill or something." But it was crazy because the street light in front of our house is on. Houses down the street by us and next to us on the other side of the street, the lights was on. So it's pretty crazy here in Dallas. So you just have to be careful. Be careful because it's looking bad and it's supposed to get worse overnight. After I did the little short show earlier, I was looking at one of our local weather forecaster, and he was saying that the biggest part of the storm was over us at that time. So, and different part of Texas, like I think Denton County, and some other Tarrant County, I think they said with the wind chill, it was below 4 to 7 degrees below. And that's what it felt like because the wind was pretty strong. Miss Risky and I was talking earlier on IG, and she was doing a live. So I came in, we're talking. She was like, I'm like, "Hey, we don't have no lights." She said hers went out earlier, so it's a rolling blackout they're doing to save the energy. Excuse me. Welcome to the show. T-Cal is in the house on a Sunday night. Happy Valentine's Day to you. Uh, Caught your show earlier. Love it. Much love. I appreciate it. Marcellus came on earlier too, and said love and peace to everyone. So so I hope y'all enjoying your Valentine. I know it's a little bit different this year, pandemic style. Um, and you cannot be around your loved ones like you want to be. And even though we did the show earlier, if you want to shout out to your loved one, you're more than welcome to put it in the chat and let's discuss it. So tonight, I'm already aware of it. I'm gonna just say, hey Cam, all you other Kyle Rittenhouse and Trump supporters, I'm gonna let y'all know now. We talking about Trump, so we're gonna talk about him tonight. So, um, and y'all can always call in also if you have a comment. I just ask one thing: do not block your number. I will not answer a blocked number. So you can call in, make comments of what we're going to talk about if you want. But I also ask that you be respectful. And do not come with conspiracy theories. Because if you do, I'm going to just click, hang up on you. So, but other than that, you can call in, chat with us in the chat room either way. So I kept seeing this alert coming across. So apparently up in Armstrong hour, they arrested the mayor, the police chief, um, the county clerk, I believe. And I'm like, what did they do? They had to do some crazy stuff. We'll kind of find out for years. They'd been embezzling money. I'm like, what? Uh, how you gonna embezzle money and you are an elected official? Well, they went to the point. Ooh, I should have posted these pictures. Um, yeah. Mayor Greg Buum, Chief Craig Merrill, City Clerk Tracie Lang, um, and former City Clerk Connie Thackeray are all charged with 21 felonies and misdemeanor. Uh, 3 current and 1 former city official in Armstrong all face charges following a multi-year investigation into alleged wrongdoing. Among those accused are Armstrong mayor, police chief, his current city clerk, and former city clerk. According to a press release from the Emmett County Sheriff Office, Mayor Greg Buum, police chief Craig Merrill, city clerk Tracie Lang, and former city clerk Connie Thackeray are charged with 21 felonies and misdemeanor accounts. Um, this is where it's going to get crazy because what they was doing, investigators say they uncovered wrongdoing committed by the defendant, including the misappropriation of city funds, the presentation of fraudulent public information, deployed a taser against a civilian, and the falsification of leaders to conceal embezzlement. So here it is. They were stealing, first of all, but they went to the point to even tase somebody for they could set a lawsuit, allegedly set a lawsuit to cover up the money that they've been stealing. They thought about that for a long time to come up with something like that. Um, I don't know. Let me see if I can find it because in this particular story, it doesn't say the amount, but I'm sure a small town, they probably um, actually got. I don't know. I don't know. It can't be that much for the simple fact. Um, The population was 979 at the 2000 census. So I don't know how much they could really get from that town. And first of all, you shouldn't do it in the first place. Um, Secondly, you're gonna do it, and now you facing jail time. I wish I would have had these pictures up. Um, let's just say it's somebody for everybody. Um, but I'm trying to see. They don't know for sure. Uh, Apparently, this town been having problems because in 2017, more than 100 residents signed a petition calling for the resignation of 3 council members. So they just doing all type of dirt. Um, uh, uh-oh. So I guess Mr. Baum declared a state of high concern for the city in 2017 and cut off communication between city officials and the city clerk. And that year, the council also voted to seize the chief computer and taser for investigation. So, um, so they don't have a dollar amount, but a small town like that, the town probably is almost bankrupt. Um, I don't. They didn't say exactly how many time they done it. Um, uh, and the bad part, the town is only 0.9 square miles. And so I'm like, that's not good at all. Um, the deployment of a taser against a civilian is change for cash. Boy, that's a new one on me. Uh, I guess somebody said, "Hey, I get tased." Not concerned about if they mess around and die from that taser. So either way, it's not right. They need to go to jail for it. You do the crime, you do the time, do the crime. You need to do the time. That's all to it. But yeah, that's Armstrong. Oh, that's low small town that could bankrupt that town. So here we are, which we've said on the show. We Radio and we discussed it and said most likely Trump won't get impeached, and kind of felt that way because of some of the way the trial was going. Well, it um, came out yesterday that hmm, hold on. I hate when ads start playing when I pull up certain things. Then you can't cut them off. But it came out yesterday. Donald Trump acquitted in second impeachment trial. I want to know how y'all feel about it. I've said on the show many times I felt like he wasn't going to get impeached, but at some point, you have to know the difference. And Trump called it his statement, going to say it was just a big old witch hunt. And I'm like, really? Um, so what we need to do, it was 57 to 43. Um, 57 to 43 senates that voted, and they needed 67 in order to impeach him. And it didn't happen. It definitely did not happen. Um, kind of make you wonder, where are some of these folks' minds at? Because they were surprised that 7 Senate voted to impeach him. And it's maybe they got something else planned. I don't know. I have no idea. Um, but I feel that he should have been impeached, because at this point, anybody who was at Capitol Hill on January the 6th, they was at risk of having some their life was at risk. And not unless you was part of the issue that happened January the 6th. So, but they refused to impeach this man. And the only thing that did was made it is going to make it worse for Trump. Uh, because now, well, I won't say make it worse for Trump, it'll make it worse for American people, for the simple fact Trump feel like he's above the law, feel like he's above God. And I wish when he got ready to leave yesterday, I wish New York would have been there and lock him up on those charges in New York. He definitely need to be held accountable for those charges. Um, Radio said until Republican supporters decide to quit voting against their own interests, this will continue. I believe it will, because here it is. They had the perfect opportunity to keep this man from ever getting back in office, any type of office. Now, because he's in Florida, don't be surprised if he don't run down there in Florida for some type of local office. And we already know how Florida is anyway. So once again, they had every opportunity to keep this man from getting back in office again. Now, for the 7 Senate, Republican Senate that voted against him, Richard Burr, Bill Cassidy, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Mitt Romney, Ben Sasse, and Pat Toomey. I'm glad y'all decide to vote against this man and get him and try to get him impeached. But for everybody else, if your Senate voted to not impeach this man, y'all need to vote to get them out of office. Get them out of office for the simple fact they feel like they above the law. They not looking at your best interest. They saying that it's okay to attack America. And even though it was a domestic terrorist attack, it's not okay. It's never okay. So what you need to do is send them a message. When their re-election come up, vote them out. Get them out. That's what Leslie Graham talking about now, because of the statement that Mitch McConnell made. Said this is um, he said he denounced Trump after voting to acquit him. And how you gonna denounce something? You're talking off both sides of your mouth. First of all, either you're with him or you're not. And what you should have done was done what's right. Now you got to go home, look in the mirror at yourself, and ask yourself, what in the hell were you doing? And ask all your colleagues, what were we thinking? But Mitch said his hands was tied. He didn't have a choice. His hands was tied. Well, Mitch, it's about time for you to retire. just like a lot of other senates that is up there. It's about time for y'all to retire. So come 2022, I believe it is, when most of you are up for re-election. Well, guess what? We're going to help y'all out to retire. If your representative voted to keep Trump from getting him impeached, when they re-election come up, y'all need to vote them out. Get them out of office. They don't need to be there. They're all about what's best for them instead of what's best for the people. So what we could do is send them a message and say, you know what? We're not taking this no more. We're going to get you out of office. And that's all to it. So Mitch McConnell, yeah, it's time for you to go. You and the rest of them, like Trump said in the 2016, gonna clean the swamp. Well, guess what? It's time for us to stand up and clean the swamp also, because y'all haven't done anything but made our tax dollars and living a good life. Because apparently you don't care nothing about the American people. It took you almost a year before y'all signed another stimulus check. How many people have lost their homes, their jobs, and struggling right now? A lot of them, if it wasn't from places like here in Dallas, Friendship West, giving out free meals every other Thursday, like this Thursday, or other organization that are stepping up and doing what the government should be doing with our tax dollars. So what we need to do is say, forget it. Need to vote them out. They don't need to be there. So we definitely need to vote them out, because it's to the point now, no matter what, they got to go. They have to go. That's the best thing. Let's vote them out, get them out. Send them on their way. Let them retire. If he have grandkids, let him go home, play with his grandkids. Ted Cruz, we're going to ship him back to Canada. So it's time to make changes. Enough is enough, and we need to get them out. Radio said, I laughed when some politician analyses thought McConnell was going to do the right thing. He has shown time and time again he lives for hypocrites. It's time for them to go. I'm tired of it. I've been tired of it. So it's time for us to make a change. All these old ass white men that are sitting up in the Senate and Congress, it's time to get them out. We need some young blood up in there. So it's time to make a change. Get them out. And let them know American is about different people. That's what American is made up of. So what we're going to do, we need to vote other people in these positions. Somebody who is going to be for the people and not for themselves. We need to send a message to Washington to get them out of that position. And it's a lot more. And start not only up in Washington, but we also need to start with our local officials. Ted Cruz got to go. Dan Patrick got to go. Greg Abbott, holla at you. Oh, we can't forget about Ken, the alleged gangster Paxton. He definitely got to go. Hopefully he goes straight to jail without passing go. With the 2 charges up against him, hopefully he go to jail. So yeah, they all need to go. And regardless of if they're trying to say Trump was not responsible for that terrorist attack, because people have sent me messages on I keep saying I'm not going to read y'all comments, Why I'm in the middle of talking. But people keep saying that Trump did not cause this, but he did. He said enough. He hyped these people up, got them hyped where they went and attacked Capitol. But I kept saying that the election was a fraud. They're trying to steal America. Kept saying all of this. We're going to go down there and demand that they change the election. Telling people to vote twice. That's why that clown in Georgia is being investigated for possible voting twice. And he should be, need to be held accountable too. He definitely need to be held accountable. Just like anybody else, the one that used his mother to vote, her information to vote, that been dead for a while, and his mother-in-law need to hold them accountable. They need to vote. Need to go to jail behind it. Radio said, unfortunately, in the GOP right now, the craziest you talk, the better chance you have to be elected. You're right, because one thing we have seen, a lot of them since Trump been in office, they come up in there and they talk crazy, talk hate, talk conspiracy. Next thing you know, they're elected. And you hit it right on the head. That's what you have to do to get elected today. TK, I'm gonna say Greg Abbott, roll on. I don't have nothing to say about that. So the bottom line is we need to make sure we're voting these folks out for the simple fact they not for us. They only looking out for their own self, for their own party. I feel like this, the GOP, they might well call that the new KKK. That's what it seemed like to me. Like I tell you all the time, a lot of them, they taking their robes off, they put on suits. They're elected officials, in some cases, police officers. Some of them tuck one robe off and put on a different robe. And now they're our judge. Just like the judge in Kyle Rittenhouse bail hearing. His mind was made up before he even heard the case. Now, I heard seen the comments people wrote on YouTube talking about, oh, he wasn't. Kyle Rittenhouse is innocent. He's a hero. Free Kyle Rittenhouse. With Kyle Rittenhouse. Let him go in there with Big Bubble. He'll keep him warm. It's cold outside. I'm sure Big Bubble would love to have him in there. So forget Kyle Rittenhouse. So my thing is, he did the crime, he needed to do the time. If it was anybody else, they'll be in jail just like they should be. I don't care who it is. You do wrong, you need to do the time. If I go out here and shoot 2 people, guess what? I'm going to jail. I put my own self in that position. If I go out here and break my bond, don't let the court know where I live at. If I'm able to get off on bail, because I'm quite sure all those folks that raised that $2 million cash bail for him, they're gonna look at me and be like, oh, that's another thug. So once again, he don't care about that $2 million that were raised. He don't care if they lose that money. Why? He didn't put a dime up. He don't care about it. So he knew the rules. He knew the rules were you have to let the court know if your address changed within a certain length of time. It don't say nothing about if you if you show up to your court hearing, oh yeah, I went to his page. Yeah, I went to it, and I'm like, yeah. About 2 minutes in, I said, yeah, that's another Trump supporter. Let me get off here. So yeah, I saw, like Radio said, I saw that comment. The guy who wrote it has put out 60 Kyle Rittenhouse videos defending him. See, that's the key. I wonder if that was okay, let's do it like this. When the cops, what city was it in? I don't want to say the wrong city. It's a case going on right now where a young lady, which could have been another Breonna Taylor case, a young lady and her boyfriend in a house sleep, heard banging at the door. She grabbed her peacemaker and shot because she didn't know who it was because they didn't identify themselves. They was the police trying to serve a warrant. But once again, you're not identifying yourself. How do she's supposed to know who it is? For as you know, somebody breaking in our house. So now they trying to charge her for shooting an officer. Well, if he identified himself, she wouldn't have fired the shot. But at the same time, this same guy, he probably would say, oh, look at her. Bat the blue. Bat the blue. She wrong for shooting at the cop and all of that. Just like they said about Breonna Taylor. Talking about she was wrong. She had nothing to do with that. She was in her bed asleep. But y'all want to blame her for her death. Let's blame the DA Cameron for not giving the proper information to the grand jury and hold him accountable. Yes, he should be impeached out of his position. He should step down. He should have charges brought up against him for not doing that trial correctly. So, yeah. So don't come to me telling me Kyle Rittenhouse is innocent. If he was black, you'll be talking about frying him. And talking about y'all quick to say bat the blue and all of this, but on January 6th, the blue did not matter. Y'all did not worry about bat the blue. Y'all was attacking bat the blue. So what's the difference? And you talking about there's no difference in color? That's BS. It's a lot of difference in color. So don't come to my page talking about, oh, it's no different in color. It ain't like that. That's not it. Well, tell me, what is it then? You say it's no different in color. What if Kyle Rittenhouse was a black man? What would you say then? You probably say, oh, he deserved to go to jail. They shouldn't let him out on bail. That judge probably would have had a different attitude. Wisconsin, don't forget that judge is an elected official. Send him a message. Vote him out. Yeah, protesting is great. But let's vote some of these folks out. Let them know that we're tired. We're tired of the treatment. Everybody is not treated fair in America. Radio said Officer Goodman at the Capitol riot had a mob of people advancing on him. He never shot or tried to provoke anyone. His training and being able to perform under stress made the difference. Exactly. And he better than me. I'm not going to even lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you at all. Because when I seen the video, I told my wife, I said, baby, That's a strong brother right there. Because all those folks coming towards you, first of all, you done broke up in here and you know you're not supposed to be here. So you broke in a restricted government building. He had every right to shoot you. He would have been doing his job. And I know they have to be have some very intense training, because they have to be able to know when to fire their weapon, when not to. Just like all policemen should have this type of training. Because if you notice, the young lady that was killed at the Capitol, that officer did not fire his gun until she got ready to jump through that window. That's when he fired his gun. Because at that point, they was close enough where no telling what would have happened. Then they yelling, talking about kill the vice president. After seeing those videos during this impeachment trial and how close you were to these people, you still voted the person that caused this issue not to be impeached, which is crazy. At that point, what if those officers would have said, you know what? I'm gone. Then what? If they would have reached you, then what? If Officer Graham did not think quick enough to direct them away from you, what could have happened? Must remember, a couple of them had zip ties to handcuff folks. And I still feel like for the ones that have served, that are serving, that was a part of this, they should lose all benefits and be dishonored discharged. Even if they already retired, it should be changed, because you went against America, the country that you swore to protect, and you're not doing that by trying to overturn our government. So yes, you should lose all your benefits. T. Cal said exactly, they would have been outraged. Yeah, if Cal Rittenhouse was a black man, we wouldn't even hear about this case. It would have been open and closed. Matter of fact, he would have been, let's go back. First of all, if he was black, it wouldn't have got that far. And I'm going to break it down for the simple fact, when those cops came up to him, praising him, thanking them for being there, giving them a bottle of water, and it was past curfew, yeah, it never would have been no killing. Because the thing is, they would have arrested them. I take that back. Allegedly, it could have been a killing. Because if he was a black man walking around with an assault rifle, they probably would have shot him first and asked questions later. So, yeah, it's definitely one of those situations where you got to look at it. We seen the videos where people have done things like this. You have a white guy walk down the street with an assault rifle, nothing is said or done. Police pass by, wave at him, keep rolling. Have a black guy come down the same street and they call out the entire force on him. And if it wasn't from them saying, hey, we're doing a video to document the difference, they told the black guy, well, you could have been shot and killed. Well, the white guy just did it. Y'all waved at him. Nothing was said and done. That's what we need to change. We need to change that thinking of the way people think about race. And that's a problem. A lot of people was brought up on black folks are mean and scary and all of this. I would say go back and flap your parents because they the ones that taught it to you. I'm glad my mother taught us to love everybody, give everybody respect. As long as they giving you respect, give them respect. But some people don't look at it like that. If you don't agree with them, they automatically think you are against them. Radio said, but then the Trump supporter will say in Goodman case, it wasn't self-defense if he used his firearm because he shot Patriot. They would have switched it around, made him look like the bad guy, but they overlooked the fact. And I even heard some videos where some people talking about, oh, a lady got shot. They didn't have to shoot her. But they overlooking at the fact that they broke into the Capitol. But hey, they didn't have to shoot him. We seen the difference between it. We seen when there was BLM marches going on outside the Capitol. They had every available police force, National Guard, all of them lined up against the steps of the Capitol to prevent anybody from going up there. So we seen this. We seen where just because an older white guy, I forgot what city it was somewhere on the East Coast, happened last summer. Older gentleman. It was a protest going on. And he came up. Now, this older guy probably weighed every bit of 97.5 pounds soaking wet. Asked the officer a question. They shove him down. He hit his head, and immediately you start seeing blood coming out his ears. He did survive. He did survive, but it never should have happened. And then Trump's old stupid self talking about he was trying to scramble the radios. What? This guy probably don't trying to scramble the radios from the police officer. This guy probably don't even know how to use a remote control for the TV. But you're gonna say he was scrambling the radios for the officers couldn't communicate. Now this is our so-called leader at that time. So I'm like, no, that's crazy. TK said it's so hypocrite. Yes, it is. I agree with you. It is. It is such hypocrite. There, it's all about what they need and what they want. Radio said when people barricade a door with furniture and guns, drawn means don't come in. That woman didn't use her head. She was driven by pure emotion. And not only that, she served in our military. So she knew better. She knew better. She served. You put yourself in that position. You're taking a risk anyway. Because once you breached those doors, they had every right to do whatever they needed to do because they there to protect our government secrets and also each one of those senates and congressmen that was there. They was there to protect them. So once you breach those doors, they had every right to do what they wanted to do. I'm quite sure if this was a BLM riot, terrorist attack, the headlines wouldn't be the same. It would not be the same. So I'm just wondering. I'm just gonna call it like I see it. So T-Cal said they would have brought all his past, got him standing by a guy that was smoking, and then he would have been a drug dealer. He would have been called a thug and found pictures of him in 8th grade. That's the first thing they do. That's the first thing they do. When it come down to black people, first thing they do is pull their background. If he have a parking ticket, they're gonna bring it up. He was a thug because he got this speeding ticket or this parking ticket. He shouldn't have got it. He don't follow the law. But once again, that's the difference between black and white laws. T-Cal said doing things kids do and label him thug, he would be under the jail. Exactly. Cal would never got the opportunity. It would have been bail denied. He never would have got a bail. Never would have gotten it. And I know that the clown that left the comment last week, I responded back to him, but I responded back and I said, hey. So I broke it down to him and I went, found out the laws for people on bail in Wisconsin, and I posted it on there for he could see it. He probably listening to the show now. And if I ever have the opportunity of scanning your videos, you don't want me on there. I'm gonna just say that. Because you don't have authorization to use none of my videos. So so if you got them on there, got me on there saying stuff, you need to remove them or else. So, but either way, what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. I don't have time to play games. Life is too short. Life is way too short. So you need to look at everything, remove the color from it, and look at what if this was a black guy? Do you think he would get the same treatment? Do you think he would have got out of jail? Look at the reason why they was protesting anyway. The brother that was shot in the back. Here it is. He shot in the back, paralyzed, waist down, and they still had him in handcuffs. Where was he going to go? Where was he going? He paralyzed waist down, and you kept him in handcuffs. Unarmed brother shot in the back. Okay. Let me say this because some people are going to say, oh, he had a gun in the car. They said no weapon was found. Well, he had a knife in his hand. They said no weapon was found. But if that was a white guy, they would be outraged. If that was a black cop and a white person getting shot in the back, they would be outraged. They'll be calling for him to his head on a platter. He needed to go to jail. He was wrong. I'm not saying everything the brother did was right, but the first thing they did, pull up his background. Talked about how much of a thug he was. It was worn out for him, and assault, a sexual assault case out against him, and everything else. But instead of looking at the fact This dude, from my understanding, he was trying to help break up the fight. Whatever the situation was, he was trying to help stop it. But now he's paralyzed. He can't go out there and play sports with his son no more. Y'all prefer to shoot us in the back instead of finding out the truth of what's going on. Radio said, could you imagine if a mob tried to storm the Pentagon? Well, we already know. First of all, I don't want to imagine that, because I feel if you're trying to storm a government building, you are on a suicide mission. You putting yourself in danger and anybody else over there because you're trying to attack America. Regardless, you putting yourself in danger. But we already know when it was a protest in front of the White House, we already know the clown ran down to the basement, got in the bunker to hide from them, thinking they was coming in there. The next night, he decided to use tear gas against American people. Use tear gas, having them pushed out the way for he could go out there and take a photo opportunity in front of a church with an upside down Bible. He didn't have enough sense to even look at the Bible, make sure he was holding it right. But these are the same fool that these people are following. And he didn't have enough sense to look at the Bible, see if it was upright. But hey, y'all want to do this because of him. That's not too good. Radio said, I read the self-defense statute in Wisconsin. Only owners, relative of owners, or employees can use lethal force to defend a business. Now, see, it's been a conflicting story. The reason why Cal was there, because he said he was called there to protect that business. At this point, I don't believe nothing that he say. If he was called there, I want to know who called them there. Then on top of that, that person should be held accountable as well. Because here it is, you bringing a child to come out there to do a man's job. And because you called that child to do it, you should be held accountable. Or you shall be held accountable. Since they kept bringing up shall the other day in impeachment, you shall be held accountable. So if that's the case, the owner of that shop should be on trial also, because he put Cal at risk. Just like the police chief came out and said they was contacted by that group and he would not give them authorization to come there and patrol. I don't know what's true, what's not true, but I do know this though. Those officers that passed out water, praising them and telling them that they was happy that they was there, that sound kind of fishy too. Because sound like to me, they kind of knew they was gonna be there. That's what it sounded like to me. But I don't know. I guess once the trial start, we'll know then. Um, we should know then. But the only thing he want to give out for his address is a P.O. box located down the street from where they living at. A P.O. box. Not the physical address, a P.O. box. At the post office or the little mail shop down the street. That's the address he want to give. Not a physical address, just a P.O. box. Now, some of them going to say, well, there's some P.O. boxes as address. Yes. My grandparent, their house in East Texas was a P.O. box. But at the same time, that was the address for that time. But when you living in a city like he's in or wherever he's living, you have a physical address of where you actually land your head at. And the court need to know where to find you at all time. You giving them a P.O. box, they can't go to the P.O. box and say, oh, Cal is right here. No, they need to know where you are. That's why I posted all that information on YouTube for the guy can read it for himself. And he probably didn't read it. And listening to him talk about Cal Rittenhouse, it's not too much he can really say. His mind made up just like the judge. So, but once again, it's a big business to do conspiracy theory. Nah, I'm just not into it. Radio said, I imagine the owner would open himself up to legal prosecution to just ask a bunch of untrained people to defend their business and some get killed. Exactly. Exactly. I somebody lying, but they also must remember Cal Rittenhouse is also the same person that attacked the young lady before this. Because the video came out. It's amazing when stuff started happening, people start bringing up videos of stuff that you done in your past. And with Cal, what happened with that was um, apparently two young ladies got into it, had a disagreement. One young lady started walking off. Cal run up behind and hit her in the face. If that's not a thug, what is it? Sound thuggish to me. Sound like a little kitty cat because you're a man or a boy attacking a woman. Two young ladies get into it, either break them up or don't get involved. But instead, you decide to attack the young lady. Whatever the situation was, the young lady was walking off. She was de-escalating. But you decided to attack her. Oh, the video, I hope it comes out in court for his character. It should. Uh, so it definitely should. According to Dominique Black, Cal's friend, when he drove him back to Rittenhouse, mother said, you have two choices. Out of town or go to the police. What type of parenting is that? My mama would have been like, oh, you out there acting a fool? Hold on. Got on back there and go to sleep. Shoot. She would have called the police so quick. You didn't play that with my mom. I remember mm, back in the early 80s. Uh, Man, my brother used to go up to 7-Eleven, play these little games. They had like Miss Pac, well, back then, Pac-Man and different games. We go up there and play the little quarter games. And he decided to 7-Eleven had penny candy back then. That's telling my age, ain't it? Yeah. Had penny candy. So you go in there and get you a piece of gum or whatever. Mom came up there to pick us up. And my brother decided to go grab a couple of handful of candy and didn't say nothing until he got in the car and started eating it. My mama said, "Hold on, where'd you get that from?" I grabbed it. Where your receipt at? He didn't have one. And she knew he didn't pay for it. Welcome to the show, Candy Steckelberg on Facebook. You can actually chat live with us in the chat room. Um, So she told him, no, you take it back in there. Take it back in there and apologize. So he had to go in there and apologize and then pay for the candy. I'm like, hey, she didn't play. She made sure we didn't learn how to steal or do anything. She wasn't going down with that. She said, nope. And you're gonna do this. I'm gonna make sure you know the difference. And she made sure. So I appreciate her for it. And um every time I was with somebody did something wrong. Hey man, I gotta go. I'll holler at y'all later. I know they going to do something wrong. I gotta go. I'm not getting caught up like that. So, but yeah, it's I'm sure um I don't even know the guy name. I wouldn't even say his name, no way. But I'm sure he's probably listening, tuning in, want to know what we're talking about tonight. He probably got to get content for his show. Everything I say, he'll go there and say something completely different. And unfortunately, that's how it is with a lot of people. Um, they'll get content and go with that. For me myself, I do research on things when I come up with my titles. It's stuff that come up to me, and then sometime I may come up with a title, and then later on, it end up I see somebody else had a title similar to mine or something, but hey, I didn't look at their title. They didn't look at mine. Just so happened we come up with something similar. So but I'm also gonna talk about I didn't mention this before, but uh Leslie Graham, he brought up yesterday. Um and there's something to watch out for because I didn't really look into it. And I wasn't going to talk about it at first, but I think it's important enough that we kind of hit on it. But Leslie Graham actually said uh, Laura Trump is the biggest winner of impeachment trial. I'm like, who in the hell is Laura Trump? Well, that's Eric Trump' wife. So now um, she's she's looking at possibly trying to run for office. And oh, excuse me. She's thinking about trying to run for office here in the upcoming future. So with that being said, um need to watch out, because if that's saying that a poll taken late last year shows Laura Trump as the favorite among possible Republican primary candidate to fill Burr's vacant seat. She's married to Eric Trump and was a top surrogate for both his 2016 and 2020 campaign. So that's going to be interesting. Hopefully she don't get the opportunity to run. I think he is too. And that's why I was questioning if I was going to even mention this. And I'm like, hey, that's not good. We cannot take another Trump. I don't care where they trying to run. Kind of like how they allegedly did the Bushes when George got out of office. They kind of blackballed him and blackballed the name Bush because what's his brother name in Florida? Ted? No, not Ted. I forgot his brother name. The one that was down in Florida. He tried to run for the presidential. They tell him no, 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 no. Y'all don't sit back down on the porch. We had enough of you Bushes. We're not taking no more. So that's what we're running into with Trump. And probably the only Trump that would have a chance would be Mary Trump. Because Mary Trump said she tried to warn us, her uncle is not playing with a full deck. So yeah, Jeb Bush. I was gonna say Ted, but it's Jeb. Yes. But radio said Lindsey Graham has lost his damn mind. He just trying to fit in with the new and dysfunctioning GOP. It's a lot of that going on. A lot of it. A lot of people are trying to fit in for what they feel that is best for them and their political views. But I feel when you get in those positions, you really need to be for the people and not against the people. As for what political side you choose, that's your choice. But you still need to be held accountable for every decision you make as an elected officials. Um, you're not, if you get in there and prove that you're not for American people, guess what? It's our rights to vote you out. I wish we had a law like Canada, like radio say all the time. If their elected officials get elected and they don't do what they supposed to do or what they said they was gonna do, they can order a recount, vote them out, and put someone else in there. So that's the same thing I feel we need here in America. Because if that's the case, if people look at their moral and what is right, it's no way Trump ever should have got in there once that audio tape came out of him talking about grabbing the ladies by the kitty cat. He never should have been allowed to run. That should have stopped him from trying to run then. But because he said that, people fell in love with him. So I feel they need to change some rules and some laws with that. When you're dealing with a person like that, that's not representing America. We look weak. We look weak for the simple fact that no one is afraid of us because of what happened on January the 6th. We look weak. But some people is okay with that. Some people is okay. Some people are all in it for the money. All in it for themselves. How can they benefit from it? That's all they want to know. It proves that this Back the Blue campaign is a fraud. It's about money. Because these same ones say Back the Blue, driving around with a Back the Blue flag and driving around with a decals on a vehicles and all of this. But then when you get up to Washington, the blue didn't matter. What happened to Back the Blue then? Reddy said it's a long shot, but a third or even a fourth political party in the U.S. would be positive. We have 5 here in Canada. Yeah, it would be good. But I think it would be much harder to run. I think we probably would have too many runoffs because now with the 2 we have it in the independent, a lot of time that's where excuse me, that's where we end up having runoffs because someone voted independent and it wasn't enough votes for one particular candidate. Or how we seen this past November, a lot of some of those votes went to Kanye, which never should have happened. Never should have happened. And matter of fact, I'm wondering what's going on with Kanye charges up in Chicago, because they said some of those petition was fraud. They wasn't accurate signature. That's why they took them off the ballot up there. So I'm just kind of trying to see if it was ever brought up. It looked like nothing been updated since August on that. But they haven't said if he's going to be charged with fraud or not. So so we don't know. But I feel like he should be held accountable. If he knowingly knew someone was signing fake signatures to get him on the ballot, he should be charged. And he shouldn't be allowed to be back on the ballot. So I'm like, hey, you say, do what you say, do it the right way. Which one? Shudder to think the nutcases in the GOP that will run in 2024. You know what? Just like there was 100,000 of them that ran for the Democrat for the presidential election, I'm sure the GOP probably gonna have a lot of them this time too. And to be honest with you, I don't see none of them good enough. I just don't see where they can actually get enough of them. They're gonna end up fighting, knocking themselves out. It'll be 2 of them trying to It'll be too many chief and not enough Indian trying to run in 2024. And what's going to happen is they're basically going to knock themselves out the box. And that's all to it. That's the way I feel about the situation. You know, all of these opinions on here is my opinion. It's nothing against none of our viewers or sponsor, and our viewers' opinion is their own opinion. Nothing against the show. So I'm just saying, you can always everybody have their own opinion. Only thing we ask that you speak the truth and be respectful. No conspiracy theory. Now, radio, you asked me. Oh, hold on. Let me just put up a comment. You can't have a smart logic candidate for president in the GOP anymore. No, I think your home girl, Marjorie, I think she probably was going to try to make a run, but I think she kind of knocked herself out. But then again, it'll be some crazy folks voting for her. I just won't. But radio, you asked the question earlier if we was involved with this winter storm. Yes, Dallas is covered. I haven't since I've got off the show earlier. I haven't looked outside, but yeah, we are involved. It is coming down pretty good. Matter of fact, I seen where somebody said Streetport, which is the next state over, and it's still snowing. I'm looking at my cameras now, and it's still snowing pretty good. The Streetport, the next state over, they're expecting 10, I think 7 to 10 inches tonight. Oh, you saying it's snowing there? I figure it was because I seen where in Washington State they got snow up there. Robin had posted on our Facebook where they actually did a snowman. So I figure it probably was snowing up there. And right now it's 15 degrees here, and the low tonight's supposed to be 7 degrees. So it's not good. Only thing I can say by November, it's gonna be a lot of baby boomers coming by November. So, but here is pretty bad. Besides the accident we had last week, I'm like, hey, you know what's crazy? I was telling somebody this earlier, because when the pandemic started and they talked about how with the pandemic, first they said, oh, once it get hot, it'll cure it. Then they said, oh, when it get cold, it'll cure it. And I'm like this. Maybe this is God's way of purifying this world, because for all of these places to get this type of wintry storm come through that we haven't had in years. I think they said it was like 70s or 80s last time we had something like this. So maybe this is God's way of saying, you know what? We need to purify this world and just sweeping through this city to clean it up, because most lot of stuff cannot, allergies and stuff cannot live with allegedly live without when it's this cold. So hopefully this will be able to stop the pandemic from spreading anymore. I don't know. but God is up to something. I don't know. But I've been hearing different reports. A lot of places seeing snow and ice that haven't seen it in years. Down in Houston, um, they don't really get it that much because they down on the Gulf, but they're experiencing quite a bit too. I know San Antonio don't get it that much, but they are expecting a lot overnight. Um, so is I think the last time I was in San Antonio that it snowed, it was one Christmas about 3 or 4 years ago. It snowed there, and but in Dallas it was like 80 degrees for Christmas. So I'm like, shoot, I'll take 80 over any day. But hey, you have been listening to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, dog. I want to appreciate everybody who tuned in tonight. Radio Chaos, T-Cal, and Candy Stickerbirds, who is listening on Facebook. And for the ones I couldn't see your name, charge it to my mind and not my heart. Because sometimes if I don't see you come in, if you don't chat in the chat room, I don't know you here. I can see when you come in, but I cannot see your name. So definitely join us Sunday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Central Time. Um, we talk about different things, politics, or things that is going on in the world. Don't forget on the 24th, we will have a live counselor on the show. Miss Kincaid will be in the house. So definitely get prepared for that. You don't want to miss that show. She always bring us some help. This is a way where you could get free counseling during the show. And if you are working, if you currently working, you could go to your HR and ask about the employee assistant program, and they can offer you free counseling as well. And so, other than that, I really appreciate each and every one of you from tuning in. I will see y'all tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central Time, if the good Lord say the same. Until then, I love each and every one of you.